Welcome to the show. Let's begin as always with the latest of COVID-19 cases. Don't look good here. No new cases. 291, 30,083, 55313. Went out to 35,398 cases. We are 35 cases over, like I said. 178 new cases, 71 probable positive, suspect positive, 42, 24, 596, 494, 32, 1370. One new death, which means it up to 656, 31,000 have recovered. But the numbers are still rising. How can it all happen? So fast. What else can be done? Schools are closing because a teacher got the virus. Because the teacher got the virus. Yes. I can sure as well understand that. But the thing you need to remember is that no one cares. No one. It's all about safety. I'll be right back. Be back in just a minute. Sorry about that. As I was saying, the cases again are rising here. Everyone's got the vaccine, and the numbers are still rising because no one does social distancing. Bobby, my point is that we all need to do our part. If all the states are doing it, then we all have to do our part the same. Wear masks, stay socially distanced, wash your hands at all times. There's no if, ands, buts, excuses, or exceptions. None of that. You want to sit and make excuses? It's not going to happen. Certainly, I ain't going to be the one cleaning up after everyone's messes. And especially this. If you have a medical condition, then what you need to do... if you have the virus, you're ordered to stay home. Which is as simple as that. The minimum is 14 days. That's the minimum. You refuse to quarantine, then I think you could be arrested in some states. Some states you could get arrested. In some states I don't think it will happen, but it needs to happen. We have to follow those guidelines. If you don't quarantine yourself, then you will be arrested. I understand you may be within your rights and all. But the rules are still the same. But your rights are still the same as anyone else. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I really don't care whether or not the purpose of this is to make sure you know what you're doing. The purpose of this is trying to make sure that you know what you're doing. You need to follow, stay socially distanced and don't be one of those anti-maskers I'll see in the news, which we'll get to right now. Are there any anti-maskers arrested? Look up anti-maskers arrested. There's nothing. But don't be those anti-maskers like I saw on Inside Edition. So seriously, I really don't care whether or not you don't want to follow those mask rules. I don't care. What you need to do is understand the rules and why it's there. Alright, coming up more COVID-19, more topics when we come back, and especially about the impeachment. What's going to happen? We'll tell you when we return. I have a question for the women out there. How would you feel that you're still pregnant and you're worried about getting the virus while you're in the hospital, while you're pregnant? So you go get your vaccine from the drive-thru and all that stuff, and then they don't ask you, are you pregnant? And then you get the shot anyway. Well, inspired by CBS, from the CBS News segment, Women in the Pandemic, we're going to start a new segment. This is the same segment we're going to be starting here. So, the question is, here's the latest from CBS News.
After 3 months in a Wisconsin hospital battling COVID-19, Kelsey Townsend reunited with her husband late last week and met her 12-week-old daughter Lucy for the first time.
They kept me asleep for almost 2 months so my body could start healing.
You were near death.
I was.
At 39 weeks, Lucy was delivered via C-section while her mom was in a medically induced coma. Would you have taken the vaccine if it had been available to you?
I'm all for vaccines. We just need to be careful and go off of what experts are telling us.
But the guidance has been hard to interpret because pregnant women were excluded from the vaccine studies, so there's no safety data available. The CDC, the WHO, and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists say pregnant women should discuss risk factors with their doctors and make a decision themselves. Still, some expectant mothers are on the fence.
It's definitely hard to decipher what you should be doing.
Charlene McCraney is 19 weeks along and decided not to get the shot.
I think the main thing that comes up with moms is long-term birth defects.
Protecting the mom protects the child.
Dr. Brenna Hughes says the COVID vaccines do not contain live virus and are unlikely to cross the placenta.
The vaccine is not thought to be directly delivered to the fetus. It really is geared towards keeping the mom healthy.
Studies are now underway on how the vaccine could affect mothers and their babies. What would you tell pregnant women about this virus and your experience?
To be extremely cautious. It almost ended my life.
Mireya Villarreal, CBS News, Dallas.
And we're going to continue our series tomorrow, focusing on the economic toll.
That's tomorrow, focusing on the economic toll. Now the question for some people is, can I get pregnant? These are a couple questions. Can you get the COVID vaccine if you're pregnant? If pregnant people are part of the group that is recommended to receive a COVID vaccine, they may choose to to be vaccinated. A conversation between a patient and their clinical team may assist with decisions regarding the use of vaccines approved under the EUA for prevention of COVID-19. Next, is the COVID-19 harmful to pregnant women? Vaccines do not give you COVID. These vaccines have no live virus. These vaccines do not contain ingredients that are known to be harmful to pregnant people and the fetus. Many vaccines are routinely given in pregnancy and safe. Example are tetanus, diphtheria, and flu. Are pregnant women at higher risk of developing COVID-19? People might be. When people say might, you have a choice. But how can pregnant women protect themselves from COVID-19? Well, you need to you should always wear a mask or a cloth face covering, avoid close contact, wash your hands often in soap and water, clean and disinfect frequently touch objects, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, and when you must go out, practice social distancing 6 feet from others in your immediate household. And if you're pregnant, you should continue to seek health care throughout your pregnancy. Tomorrow in the segment, we're going to be focusing on the economy toll. All right, coming up. It's been nearly like a couple of months since, almost a couple months since the rioters happened in Washington. We're going to give you the very latest on what's been happening and if President Trump got impeached after the weeks ahead when Biden was elected taken into office. After this, it's been nearly I think a couple months since the riots have happened, and now Donald Trump has stockpot millions of donations as he faces the second impeachment trial. Here's the latest from CNN. Donald Trump's new political committee took in more than 31 million in the final weeks of 2020 as he made relentless and baseless claims of voter fraud. New fill-in show. But Safe America spent a little on waning weeks with more than $200,000. He could face legal expenses in the impeachment trial in a little over a week in the Senate. The CNN first reported suddenly the loss of impeachment defense team departure of 5 lawyers. I'm not going to get into all this, but here's the second article. And this Lindsey Graham threatens to bring FBI testimony Democrats call a witness in Trump's impeachment trial. This is from independent.co.uk, which their article says Lindsey Graham threatens to bring in FBI testimony if Democrats call a witness in Trump's impeachment trial. Trump's 5-person legal team abruptly parted ways with the former president days before his Senate trial. This was 6 minutes ago. So the impeachment trial is going to be starting next Tuesday, and we'll give you the very latest as it happens. But I want to tell you what Lindsey Graham has said. He has said the House impeached President Trump without a witness. If we open the witness door in the Senate, there will be lots of witness requested on a variety of topics, and the trial will go on for months, not days. And Mr. Trump's still struggling to assemble legal defense, with Wednesday being his deadline in responding to the article of impeachment. Hours before the deadline, Trump has announced a change in his team and hired 2 new lawyers. That's 7 total. So I really hope that it all goes well, and
Angry Mayor Lori Lightfoot lashed out last night and vowed.
and I don't have to see people go rioting again because of voter fraud. All right, if you live in Chicago, you will know teachers' unions refuse mayor's orders to return to classrooms because of the Chicago mayor. Here again is the very latest from CBS News.
Teachers and city officials who want to reopen schools on Monday. CBS's Charlie DeMar has the latest.
With a strike looming, members of the Chicago Teachers Union were in cars today to show why they may not be in class on Monday. That means recess is still confined to Bridget White's backyard. Her dining room doubles as a classroom.
Fair to say you're frustrated.
Yes, very frustrated.
Brianna is in 7th grade and Tristan in 5th. Neither have been back to their school since last March.
You got this one side saying one thing, you have this other side saying the other thing, and you're in the middle.
In angry, Mayor Lori Lightfoot lashed out last night and vowed kindergarten through 8th grade kids will be back in the classroom Monday, despite a breakdown in talks with teachers.
The CTU leadership has failed and left us with a big bag of nothing.
Union leaders say Lightfoot blew up negotiations after 70 sessions without an agreement on issues like testing, vaccinations, ventilation, and protecting vulnerable people who live with teachers.
They're not going to accomplish with bullying and threats what they can't accomplish by looking at us and trying to make rational agreements with us. You know, we're teachers. We understand how bullying works.
This week, the CDC said that in-person classes can return safely. Meanwhile, President Biden says he plans on having kids back in the classroom sometime within the next 3 months. But what's happening here in Chicago is showing just how difficult that might be.
The city says they've put $70 million into safety improvements, things like air purifiers and plastic dividers in every classroom. But Bridget White says it's the political divide that gets her.
As a parent, you're waiting day by day. Is this the day that now my children won't have any learning at all?
She understands the safety concerns and will keep her kids in remote learning for now.
Oh!
But she wonders what they're learning about being caught in the middle. Charlie DeMar, CBS News, Chicago.
I would have to agree. I would not disagree. I disagree. I mean, if your mayor says that we need to get all kids back in school, for the teachers unions out there, you don't need to go out and protest and say, hey, safety first. I mean, yes, there are safety first, but safety first, I understand. Yes, I totally understand. I've been there. But that doesn't mean you go out and protest around people's cars. I mean, there's been teachers unions out there in some states besides Chicago who protest a new thing. Just listen to the mayor. The mayor has a plan. And if you don't like it, and if you guys don't like it, just go leave. But don't protest. If you don't like it, just keep it to yourself. But listen to your mayor. Your mayor has a plan. But the thing is, I don't care. The thing you really need to understand is that when you go to school, you're expected to be safe. Yes. But things you need to understand is that if you're going to go out and protest and say, you're going to get a protest saying we don't want our kids back in school unless we have a safety plan, then that's what you think. That's the opinion. But your mayor has a plan, a safety plan. But you're going to be saying, no, we're not going to follow the safety plan until all of our students get vaccinated. I understand. And you're going to be, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this saying, I understand this, but I understand that, but I want all the students vaccinated, but I want them to return safely, but I want those students to follow those rules, but I want to train. There is no but. You either agree with the mayor saying or you don't. There are no demands. You do what your mayor proposes and then you agree with it. You don't go out and protest, say safety first, brown people's cars. That's graffiti. You don't do that. Period. There's no ifs, ands, buts, excuses, or exceptions. Just because your teacher's union does not give you the right to go out and protest your First Amendment right. Alright, coming up. You're an AWOL student and you accidentally brought your pocket knife to school. Well, that's why one student did 6 years ago when she brought a pocket knife to school and was suspended. Why did she do it? We'll find out when we come back. Okay, imagine this. One day you go in a football game and your grandfather tells you to stay safe, so you give her your pocket knife to keep you safe. Then imagine a school official going into the bathroom. Imagine you go in the bathroom, and a school official going in the bathroom. She sees the pocket knife in the purse. Then she reports to the school officials, and then you're expelled. That was back in 2015 when a student brought that knife, and now years later, there's a hearing going. There was a hearing going on. They decided not to expel, but to suspend her. She said she can enroll in her online classes to get her diploma. Here's the latest.
Graduate with her class in 2015, but still a big blow for this student who is an honor student. She's 17-year-old Atia Haynes. She's very involved in extracurricular activities and sports. She was college bound. School officials, as you mentioned, discovered that knife in her purse as she was exiting the bathroom of school at that football game. They had to search her purse. That's when they found it. Now, Haynes says the pocket knife was there because her grandfather wanted her to have it. He gave it to her for protection. She had to ride her bike from Southwest Detroit to Dearborn for a summer job. It was dangerous, so her grandfather wanted her to have it. She reluctantly accepted, and she claims she forgot it was even in her purse. In the end, though, the school board felt there was no intent to support the zero tolerance statute, but still felt the need that this girl had to be punished in some way, that she violated school policies for bringing this weapon to school. So again, she will be suspended, allowed to enroll in classes online, and then graduate with her class in 2015. But still, Haynes feels this was the big blow and that this school board made up their minds even before that meeting even started.
I'm disgusted. I can't believe that. I don't know, no empathy. Put your child in the situation. Every time you forget your keys in your house or whatever, think of me. Think of this honest mistake. I'm a human being. I'm 17 years old, and it's disgusting that you can sleep at night knowing that you potentially ruin somebody's life.
Every discipline issue that comes to us as a school board is a blow to a student. I think that she presented her case tonight, but at the same time, as a school board, we are upheld by the state of Michigan to uphold the laws of the state of Michigan, and we try to do everything we could do within that framework to allow her a chance to finish her education here in the state of Michigan.
And this decision coming down just moments ago. Atia's mom, we spoke with her afterward. It was very emotional. She says, though, that they are considering all of their options at this point, that Atia is the kind of girl who really needs to interact with students, that she needs to be with her peers in a classroom setting. So they are considering their options, even considering private school at this point. But a very crushing moment, she called it, for her daughter, who claims, she told us tonight, that this is just a minor setback, and no matter what, she's going to overcome this and still follow her dreams to become a broadcast journalist. We're live in Dearborn Heights tonight. Taryn Asher, Fox 2 News. Back to you.
Taryn, by all accounts, Atia is a wonderful young lady, intelligent, motivated.
Yeah.
I understand that the ACLU was also at that meeting tonight. Is there any chance they may take this further, maybe to a judge, a court of law?
Well, we're still waiting for word on that. Like I said, they are considering all their options at this point. But yes, the ACLU was representing her and really tried to help plead her case this evening. But, we've heard from the ACLU before. They really feel that the zero tolerance policy is overly broad, that it's really not a one punishment fits all the crimes, for lack of a better word. They want this to be revised, and they feel that this is just over the top. Again, the Dearborn High School Board, though, giving her a partial punishment, but still hurts for this girl tonight. Back to you.
All right, Taryn, thank you.
Rules are put in place when school starts, but not at a school-based event. That's what I think needs to happen. But if you're bringing a weapon for self-defense, then that's okay. But what you really need to understand is that, yes, I understand that you want to defend yourself. I've been there. But what you've got to understand is that all parents care about these days is zero tolerance. That's all they care about. If you can show a little bit of tolerance, there will not be a zero tolerance. That's all of his decision. Give me a break. Monday, we'll see you again. We're giving a break Wednesday in a couple days. Have a good night, everyone. For all of us here at YouTube, thank you for joining us. Good night.